Tonight, you might look completely safe. You're indoors, your phone is charged, food can arrive in 20 minutes. Your paycheck landed last Friday. Maybe you paid rent, tapped your card for coffee, subscribed to another app, ignored one credit card alert, and told yourself, I'll deal with it later. But here's the thing. That ordinary evening is where your money is bleeding out, not in one dramatic disaster, not in a market crash, not because you bought one expensive thing. It happens in tiny, repeatable charges that feel harmless, because modern life trained you to survive by paying everyone else first. The landlord gets paid, the bank gets paid, the phone company gets paid, the streaming platforms get paid, the delivery app gets paid, and then you look at what's left and call it your money. That is backwards, and in an older world, backwards could kill you, because, for most of human history, if you gave away your stored food before winter, that meant death. If you burned your last fuel before the cold came, that meant death. Survival depended on reserves. Today, your reserve is cash. Your predators are not wolves outside the cave. They are automatic payments, interest rates, late fees, lifestyle creep, and a paycheck system designed to make you feel rich for 3 days and trapped for the next 27. And here's why this matters. Now, a huge number of working people are not broke because they never earn. They are broke because their income is already claimed before they touch it. Studies on household finances keep showing the same ugly pattern. Many people could not cover a sudden emergency without borrowing, selling something, or waiting for the next paycheck. That means one car repair, one medical bill, one missed shift, one rent increase can turn comfort into panic. So now, imagine living in a society where you never had to pay a bill. It sounds like a fantasy, but the real question is darker. Why does modern life require you to pay constantly just to remain normal? Your ancestors feared hunger, weather, and predators. You fear due dates, and if you don't understand the mechanism behind that fear, you can work your entire life, earn more than your grandparents ever imagined, and still feel one invoice away from collapse. You wake up, grab your phone, and the first thing waiting for you is not a lion, not a war horn, not a village alarm. It is a payment reminder, rent due, card balance due, phone bill due. A subscription you forgot about just took $14.99. A delivery app wants you to order breakfast because you are tired, rushed, and alone. And here's why that matters. Modern money does not attack you all at once. It separates you from your paycheck in tiny bites. One tap, one fee, one upgrade, one, you deserve this. In an ancient world, being cut off from the group could kill you. In the modern world, being cut off from shared financial pressure can quietly drain you. Because when everyone around you is spending, silence becomes dangerous. Nobody tells you that the car payment is choking them. Nobody admits the vacation went on a credit card. Nobody says the apartment looks nice because half their paycheck dies there every month. So now, you sit alone with a glowing screen, comparing your private bank account to everybody else's public lifestyle. That is not motivation. That is a trap. But here's the thing. The machine knows this. Companies spend billions studying the exact moment you feel bored, lonely, stressed, or behind. That is when you buy faster. That is when you stop calculating. That is when a $6 coffee becomes normal, a $40 delivery becomes self-care, and a $900 phone becomes basically necessary. Your brain thinks it is solving discomfort. Your bank account knows it is bleeding. Research on consumer behavior has shown again and again that people spend more when payments feel invisible. Credit cards hurt less than cash. Buy now, pay later hurts even less. Autopay hurts almost not at all until the money is gone. That is the counterintuitive mechanism. The easier money becomes to spend, the harder it becomes to respect. Convenience feels like freedom, but if you are not watching it, convenience becomes a leash. Look at the average paycheck before you even touch it. Taxes are gone. Then, rent or mortgage takes the biggest animal bite. Insurance follows, utilities, internet, phone, car, gas, groceries, minimum debt payments. By the time you arrive at fun money, the paycheck is already wounded. Then, modern life whispers, you worked hard, treat yourself. And that one sentence could kill your future if you obey it every week. This is why the fantasy hits so hard. Imagine a society where you never have to pay a bill. That line feels like oxygen because bills are the modern version of constant danger. Not dramatic danger, not cinematic danger, administrative danger. A quiet inbox full of deadlines. A bank app that turns red. A rent increase written in polite language. A life where survival is no longer about finding food with your tribe, but about making sure 12 different companies do not pull money from your account before you can breathe. And the cruel part is this. Many people think the problem is one big mistake. It usually is not. It is the daily leak, the subscription you do not cancel, the late fee you only paid once, the interest charge you ignore because it is embarrassing, The lifestyle inflation that arrives the second your income rises. You get a raise, and within 3 months the money is already assigned to a nicer apartment, a newer car, better meals, better clothes, better distractions. Your income went up, but your freedom did not. So now the question is not, can you afford this today? That question is too weak. The real question is, if this repeats every month, what does it turn you into? Because one purchase is not the predator, the pattern is. And if you do not name the pattern, the modern money system will happily name it for you. Normal life. You wake up, and the first thing waiting for you is not a predator. It is a balance, rent, electricity, phone bill, credit card minimum, subscription you forgot existed. A paycheck lands, and before you even touch it, half of it is already dead. And here's why that should scare you. Modern money makes you feel independent, but it also makes you financially alone. In an older survival system, if someone got injured, the group carried them. If food ran short, people shared. If a child needed watching, there were parents, cousins, grandparents, neighbors, hands everywhere. The cost of survival was spread across a tribe. Now compare that to your life. 1 bedroom, 1 income, 1 debit card, 1 emergency fund that may not even cover a flat tire. You are expected to pay like an entire village, but earn like one exhausted person. That is the trap. The bill system sells privacy as freedom. Your own apartment, your own car, your own streaming accounts, your own lifestyle. But every your own comes with a monthly charge. And if the paycheck stops, the machine does not care that you are tired. The rent is still due. The lender still wants payment. The bank still adds interest. In money terms, isolation can kill you. But here is the thing. This is not just emotional. It is structural. A single adult household usually pays more per person for housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, and even basic services than people who share costs. 2 people can split rent. A family can share groceries. A household can use 1 internet bill, 1 heating bill, 1 car in some cases. But when you live financially alone, every fixed cost lands directly on your chest. That is why a raise can disappear so fast. You think the problem is that you bought coffee or ordered food twice. Sometimes it is, but the bigger monster is fixed expenses. Rent does not care about your mood. Car payments do not shrink because you had a hard month. Debt interest does not pause because you are trying your best. These are modern survival costs, and they hunt you every 30 days. So now look at the paycheck differently. Do not ask, how much did I make? Ask, how much of this is already claimed before I breathe? If your money is gone the moment it arrives, you are not managing income. You are feeding a system that keeps you 1 missed payment away from panic. And the most dangerous part is that it feels normal. Everyone has bills. Everyone is tired. Everyone jokes about being broke. That is how the cage disappears, not because it opens, but because every person around you is sitting in the same kind of cage. A society where you never pay a bill sounds like fantasy, because we have been trained to believe survival must come with invoices. But the counterintuitive truth is this. Wealth is not only built by earning more, it is built by reducing how much of your life is permanently rented back to you. Every shared cost, every avoided interest payment, every canceled, useless subscription, every cheaper housing decision, every month without new debt is not small. It is you taking oxygen back. Because if your ancestors needed a tribe to survive the wild, you need a money system to survive the modern bill cycle. And if you do not build one on purpose, the bills will build your life for you. You think the most dangerous moment is when the bill arrives. It is not. The dangerous moment is when the bill arrives, and nobody knows you are bleeding. You open your banking app at night. Rent is due. The card payment is pending. The electric company wants its cut. Your paycheck has already been sliced into pieces before you even touch it. And because every part of modern money is private, silent, and hidden behind passwords, you look normal from the outside. That is the trap. A person can be financially collapsing in a city full of people and nobody notices. Your coworkers see your coffee. Your neighbors see your packages. Your family hears, I'm fine, but the overdraft fee, the minimum payment, the buy now, pay later, split into 4 little wounds. Those stay invisible. And here is why that matters. For most ordinary people, money trouble does not kill them in one dramatic event. It kills them through isolation. 1 missed payment becomes a fee. The fee becomes a higher balance. The higher balance becomes interest. The interest becomes stress. The stress makes you avoid opening the app. Avoiding the app means you miss the next warning. So now, the system has you exactly where it wants you. Alone, embarrassed, and late. That is how a small problem becomes a financial injury. The counterintuitive part is this. Privacy does not always mean freedom. With money, privacy can mean vulnerability. We were taught that a responsible adult handles everything alone. You pay your own bills. You carry your own debt. You negotiate your own salary. You figure out your own insurance. You suffer quietly because asking questions makes you look weak. But that rule benefits the people charging you, not the people living like you. If nobody talks about rent, landlords control the story. If nobody talks about wages, employers control the story. If nobody talks about debt, banks control the shame. If nobody talks about fees, the fee becomes normal. That means death for your paycheck. Look at wages. One worker thinks they are underpaid, but they cannot prove it. Another worker makes more for the same job, but nobody says anything. The company calls that professional. In reality, pay secrecy is a machine. It keeps each person negotiating in the dark. And when you negotiate in the dark, you usually accept less. Research has shown that when workers get more salary information, especially about what peers earn, they make different decisions. They ask for raises. They leave bad offers. They stop treating unfair pay like a personal failure. That is not just confidence. That is data turning into money. Now look at debt. Credit card companies do not need you to be stupid. They need you to be isolated. They need you making the minimum payment, alone, month after month, while the interest quietly eats your future income. A $3,000 balance does not look like a predator on the statement. It looks like a number. But at 25% interest, that number can hunt you. And if you never tell anyone, nobody interrupts the attack. Nobody says, call the issuer and ask for a hardship plan. Nobody says, move this to a lower interest option before it gets worse. Nobody says, stop using that card until the balance is dead. Nobody says, that fee is negotiable. So you keep paying the price of silence. But here is the thing. Banks already know, apps already know, credit bureaus know, advertisers know. The only people who do not know are the people who might actually help you. That is the modern reversal. Your financial life is not private from institutions. It is private from your community. A lender can see your credit utilization. A retailer can predict when you are vulnerable. A platform can push you a payment plan at the exact moment you cannot afford the full price. Technology did not remove pressure. It made pressure more precise. So when someone says, imagine a society where you never have to pay a bill, that fantasy hits so hard because bills have become a private battlefield. Every month, millions of people fight the same war in separate rooms. Rent, utilities, insurance, student loans, car payments, groceries, subscriptions you forgot, fees you did not expect. A paycheck comes in, and before it even lands, it is surrounded. And somehow, everyone is supposed to pretend this is normal. The data makes it worse. In the United States, a large share of adults report they would struggle to cover a sudden emergency expense without borrowing, selling something, or skipping another payment. Household debt is measured in the trillions. Credit card balances keep climbing. Delinquencies rise fastest among people who were already living close to the edge. That is not a moral failure. That is a system built to punish thin margins. If you have a big cushion, a surprise bill is annoying. If you have no cushion, the same bill is a cliff. One flat tire can trigger a late rent payment. One medical invoice can wreck a credit score. 1 week of reduced hours can push someone into payday loans. Comfort disappears fast when cash flow breaks. So now, ask yourself a brutal question. Who actually sees your financial danger before it becomes damage? If the answer is no one, that is the problem. Not because you need to broadcast your bank balance to strangers. You do not. But you need some financial visibility with the right people. A partner who knows the real numbers. A friend who can compare rent and wages honestly. A coworker willing to talk salary ranges. A family member who understands whether you are stable or one bill away from panic. A budgeting group, a debt payoff circle. A professional who is not selling you a product because the person who hides every number has to survive every mistake alone. And alone is expensive. Alone means you pay the first price, quoted. Alone means you accept the first loan, offered. Alone means you keep a bad subscription because you forgot it existed. Alone means you do not know your coworker makes $12,000 more. Alone means you think everyone else is doing fine, so you blame yourself for drowning. But when people compare notes, the spell breaks. Someone finds out their normal bank fee can be waived. Someone realizes their internet provider has a cheaper retention offer. Someone learns their job title is underpaid. Someone discovers the medical bill can be negotiated. Someone sees that 3 different friends are also crushed by rent. And suddenly, the issue is no longer personal weakness. It is pricing power. That shift matters because money is not just math. Money is information, timing, leverage, and visibility. The person with better information moves earlier. The person who moves earlier loses less. The person who is not ashamed asks before the damage compounds. Modern life packed us into cities and screens, but financially, it trained us to disappear. Millions of people live close together, earning, spending, borrowing, and panicking side by side, while barely knowing what anyone around them is really paying. To someone built for survival, that would look insane. Not because privacy is bad, but because total silence around money lets danger grow unnoticed. So the next time a bill scares you, do not just ask, "How do I pay this?" Ask, "Why am I facing this alone?" And here is the terrifying part. You think the danger is the big bill, the rent, the car payment, the credit card statement that lands like a stone on your chest. But most people are not being killed by one giant financial animal. They are being bitten every day by tiny teeth. A $12 subscription you forgot. A $6 delivery fee because you were exhausted. A $35 overdraft because your paycheck arrived one day after the automatic payment. A minimum payment that looks harmless, but quietly keeps the balance alive, like a fire under the floorboards. And here is why that matters. Your money is not only about how much you earn. It is about timing, friction, and traps. Modern bills are designed to hit you when your attention is weak. They do not ask, "Are you ready?" They arrive automatically. They renew silently. They punish delay instantly. That means your paycheck can look healthy on Friday and already be wounded by Monday. This is the part most people miss. Comfort can be expensive. Convenience can be a tax. The app that saves you 10 minutes can take $10. The buy now, pay later button feels like shelter in the moment, but it splits one purchase into 4 future ambushes. You do not feel broke when you click it. You feel smart. You feel relieved. Then the payments start moving in the dark. And the data backs this up. The Federal Reserve has reported that a large share of Americans would struggle to cover a $400 emergency using cash or savings. Bankrate has found that many adults cannot handle a $1,000 surprise expense from savings alone. That is not because every single person is lazy. It is because the system is built around thin margins. One late fee, one medical bill, one car repair, one missed shift, and the whole structure starts shaking. So now look at your normal month like it is a survival map. Your rent is the cave wall. Your utilities are the fire. Your groceries are the food supply. Your insurance, phone plan, internet, gas, debt payments, streaming services, and random app charges are all small drains on the same water source. If you do not watch them, they do not stop. They keep feeding. And here's the counterintuitive mechanism. The poorest moment is often right after payday, not before, after, because that is when the money is visible, and visibility creates permission. You see the deposit hit. Your body relaxes. You order food. You upgrade something. You tell yourself you deserve it, and maybe you do. But the bills do not care what you deserve. They care what date it is. The ancient version of this was simple. If your food pile was low, you saw it. If your fire was dying, you saw it. If the tribe had no shelter, everyone knew. Modern money hides the damage. Your account still shows a number, but your future obligations are already circling it. That available balance is not your money, not all of it. Some of it already belongs to the landlord. Some of it belongs to the bank. Some of it belongs to the credit card company. Some of it belongs to the subscription you forgot you agreed to 6 months ago, when the free trial felt harmless. But here's the thing. The companies know this better than you do. They know people avoid pain. They know people delay checking statements. They know automatic payments reduce cancellation. They know small monthly prices feel safer than large one-time prices. That is why everything is broken into pieces. Now, phones, mattresses, clothes, food, software, vacations, even groceries. The smaller the bite, the less you fight. And that could kill your financial future. Not dramatically, not in one cinematic collapse. Quietly, month after month. You work, you get paid, the money passes through you. And somehow, you are still standing in the same place. That is the modern trap. You are not earning too little to notice. You are leaking too steadily to recover. So, if your paycheck feels like it disappears, do not only ask, "Where did I spend it?" Ask the sharper question, "Who had access to my money before I made a decision?" Because the moment your bills, apps, lenders, and habits spend first, you are no longer leading your financial life. You are just reacting to the next attack. You wake up, check your phone, and the first thing waiting for you is not a predator in the grass. It is your bank app, rent posted. The power bill is higher than last month. Your paycheck already looks smaller before you even touch it. And if you are handling all of that alone, modern life has placed you in a quiet financial danger zone. Because here's the thing, being independent sounds strong, but in money terms, total independence can be expensive, brutally expensive. A person living alone pays the full rent alone, full internet bill, full insurance, full delivery fees, full emergency costs. No one splits the car repair. No one notices the subscription you forgot to cancel. No one says, "Don't use that lender, they'll bury you in fees." No one warns you that the landlord is overcharging. The hospital bill can be negotiated, or that your job is underpaying you compared with the market. That is not just loneliness. That is a broken financial defense system. And here's why. For most of human history, survival knowledge did not sit inside an app. It sat inside people, older people especially. The person who had lived through a bad winter knew where food could still be found. The person who remembered drought knew which route was safe. The person who had seen sickness before knew which plant helped and which one could kill you. Elders were not dead weight. They were the tribe's hard drive. Living memory, a protection system made of stories, warnings, and scars. Now, translate that into money. Your grandmother may know what inflation feels like before economists name it. Your grandfather may remember what happens when a factory shuts down and a whole town pretends it is temporary. An older coworker may know exactly which company promises growth while quietly freezing wages. A retired neighbor may know which bank fees are garbage, which contractor is honest, and which too-good-to-be-true investment is a trap with clean shoes. That knowledge is not sentimental. It is financial armor. But modern society did something bizarre. It separated people, then sold them services. To replace the people it separated them from, instead of a relative warning you about debt, you get a credit monitoring subscription. Instead of a community helping with childcare, you pay a second rent for daycare. Instead of someone checking on an elderly parent, you pay for platforms, deliveries, private care, emergency transport, and call centers where no one knows their name. So now the bill is not just money. The bill is what happens when every relationship gets converted into a service. Look at aging. In a lot of modern cities, elderly people can go days without a real conversation, but they still have to navigate insurance letters, pension rules, property taxes, online banking passwords, medical invoices, scam calls, and confusing renewal notices. One wrong click can drain an account. One missed deadline can trigger penalties. One friendly phone call from a fraudster can erase years of savings. And predators know this. Scammers do not just target old people because they are old. They target isolation. They target the person who has no second pair of eyes. No son at the kitchen table saying, "Hang up." No neighbor saying, "That letter is fake." No friend saying, "Call the bank first." Isolation turns a normal bill into an ambush. It turns paperwork into tall grass. It turns politeness into an open wound. The numbers keep pointing in the same direction. Researchers studying financial behavior have found that social networks affect jobs, wages, borrowing decisions, and retirement outcomes. Many jobs are still found through weak ties, not cold applications. Families with support can absorb emergencies better than people facing the same emergency alone. Older adults are hit hard by fraud every year, and the damage is not only the stolen money, it is the loss of confidence, independence, and time. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Modern money punishes the isolated. If you have a circle, you hear about opportunities earlier. A better job opening, a cheaper apartment, a trustworthy mechanic, a warning about layoffs, a side gig that actually pays, a tax mistake someone else already made. If you have no circle, you learn by bleeding. You pay the late fee, you sign the bad contract, you accept the low offer. You buy the thing that looked cheaper and became expensive later. That means your network is not just emotional comfort, it is economic infrastructure. This is why two people with the same paycheck can live in completely different financial realities. One has backup, the other has exposure. One can call someone when the car dies. The other reaches for a credit card at 28% interest. One gets advice before signing a lease. The other discovers the trap after the deposit is gone. One hears "Don't quit yet, line up the next offer." The other makes the mistake alone and pays for 6 months. Same income, different survival odds, and older people should be central to this conversation, not pushed to the edge of it. They have watched money cycles repeat, booms, busts, layoffs, housing manias, interest rate shocks, political promises, retirement products with beautiful brochures and ugly fees. They remember what young people think is new. That memory can save a family from stepping into the same hole twice. But when society isolates the old, it does not just hurt the old. It cuts the young off from stored financial intelligence. Then everyone becomes easier to sell, to easier to scare, easier to trap. So the question is not just, can a person survive alone? Many can. Some do it for decades. They pay the bills, keep the lights on, and tell themselves they are fine. The real question is, how much more does life cost when no one is standing near you? Because In modern money, isolation has a price tag. It shows up in rent, fees, scams, bad jobs, emergency debt, missed information, and decisions made under pressure, with no witness and no warning. And if you ignore that, the system will not feel sorry for you. It will simply keep billing you. You wake up, and the danger is already inside your phone. Not a lion, not a famine, a billing cycle. Rent is due. The car payment is waiting. Insurance renews. A subscription you forgot about just took $14.99 while you were asleep. Your paycheck lands, and before you even touch it, pieces of it are already claimed by companies, lenders, platforms, utilities, landlords, and banks. That feels normal now. But here's the thing. Normal does not mean harmless. Your money is not just disappearing because you bought coffee or ordered food one too many times. That is the easy story. The comfortable story. The story that makes the whole system feel like a personal failure. The deeper mechanism is uglier. Modern life has turned survival into a monthly subscription. You do not simply pay for shelter. You pay rent or a mortgage, property taxes, maintenance, insurance, interest, deposits, fees, and sometimes the privilege of applying. You do not simply pay for movement. You pay for the car, the loan, the gas, the repairs, the registration, the parking, the tolls, the ticket, the insurance company that may still fight you when something breaks. You do not simply pay to stay connected. You pay for the phone, the data plan, the cloud storage, the apps, the upgrades, the little digital tools that now feel impossible to live without. And here's why that matters. A single person today often has to buy what an entire household, neighborhood, or extended family used to share. That means one income is forced to carry the weight of many old support systems. One apartment instead of a family home, one internet bill, one fridge, one car, one emergency fund, one insurance plan, one lonely bank account standing in front of every predator in the marketplace. That could kill your finances. Not all at once, slowly, quietly, one automatic payment at a time. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has shown that housing, transportation, and food eat the largest pieces of the average household budget. That sounds boring until you realize what it means in real life. Before you invest, before you build wealth, before you dream, your basic survival costs may already be chewing through most of your paycheck. So now, imagine someone says, picture a society where you never have to pay a bill. That hits hard because it sounds like fantasy, but the reason it sounds like fantasy is the real warning. Bills have become so deeply wired into modern adulthood that many people cannot imagine life without them. Not because every bill is necessary, not because every fee is fair, but because the system trained you to see constant payment as the price of simply existing. And the trap is that comfort hides the blood loss. Streaming feels cheap, delivery feels convenient, buy now, pay later feels painless. A new phone feels normal. A higher rent feels unavoidable. A credit card minimum payment feels manageable, but every one of those small comforts can become a tiny cut. You do not panic because no single cut looks fatal. Then the month ends, the paycheck is gone. The savings account is still weak. The credit card balance is still breathing, and you feel that strange emptiness people talk about, except in money terms. Not emotional emptiness, financial emptiness. The feeling that you worked, earned, paid, behaved like an adult, and somehow still ended up standing in the same place. This is where the counterintuitive part begins. The richest looking lifestyle can be the most fragile. The person with the nicer apartment, newer car, better phone, premium subscriptions, weekend dinners, and clean social media profile may not be ahead. They may be trapped inside a more expensive cage. Their income may be higher, but their fixed costs are higher too. Their paycheck may be larger, but more of it is already promised to someone else. That is why income alone does not save you. Cash flow saves you. The gap between what comes in and what must go out is the oxygen. When that gap shrinks, you can still look alive from the outside. You can still post pictures. You can still tap your card. You can still say, I'm fine. But financially, you are running out of air. And here's the brutal part. Companies know this. They do not need you to make one huge, reckless decision. They just need you to accept many small, permanent ones. A plan upgrade here, a financing option there, a membership, a convenience fee, a free trial that becomes a charge, a minimum payment that keeps you calm while interest keeps eating. Credit card interest is not designed to feel like a spear. It feels like fog. You can walk through it for months before you realize you are lost. The Federal Reserve has repeatedly reported that many adults would struggle to cover a sudden emergency expense without borrowing or selling something. That is not just a statistic. That is a survival alarm. It means millions of people are one repair, one medical bill, one job delay, one rent increase away from being forced into debt. And once debt becomes the emergency tool, the emergency does not end when the crisis ends. It follows you. It adds interest. It waits for the next paycheck. It turns the future into collateral. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans feared starvation when the food ran out. Today, many people feel the modern version when the balance runs low before payday. Different world, same body, same panic. The screen shows numbers instead of empty fields, but your nervous system understands the threat. No money for rent means danger. No money for food means danger. No money for transportation means danger. No emergency fund means one bad day can become a chain reaction. That means your budget is not a spreadsheet. It is a survival map. And if you do not read it, someone else will read it for you. The bank will, the lender will, the landlord will, the app will, the subscription company will. They will find the weak points and they will charge you there. So the question is not, why do I feel broke? The question is, who already owns my next paycheck before I receive it? That question changes everything, because once you see every bill as a claim on your future labor, the game becomes clear. Rent is not just rent. It is hours of your life. Interest is not just interest. It is tomorrow's work being pulled into today. A subscription is not just entertainment. It is a tiny machine that keeps asking for permission to stay attached to your income. Some payments protect you. Some payments feed you. Some payments keep your life stable. But some payments are parasites, wearing the mask of convenience. And if you cannot tell the difference, your money will keep bleeding. While your life still looks comfortable, that is the modern trap. Not poverty that announces itself with empty pockets, but financial pressure hidden behind normal bills, normal apps, normal upgrades, and normal debt. The danger is not that you pay bills. The danger is that you stop questioning which bills deserve to survive. You are not just tired because life is expensive. You are tired because every month your paycheck walks into a room full of bills, and most of it never comes back. Rent takes the first bite, subscriptions bleed quietly, interest waits in the dark. And here's why that should scare you. Comfort can feel safe while it is draining you. In an older world, sitting by a fire, with people who knew your name meant survival. Today, survival looks like knowing exactly where your money goes before someone else claims it. The data keeps saying the same thing. Most people are one surprise expense away from panic. That means the danger is not poverty tomorrow. It is delay today. So now the move is simple. Audit the leaks, kill the useless bills, build cash before status, make your money protect you, or this modern fire will burn you alive.